Hello and greetings one and all my favorite delightful deviants of the internet. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a very special treat for you. That's right. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a special story. Not just any story, my variation of Little Red Riding Hood. And it's going to be narrated by Moo! Moo! So, let's get this going, and I hope you guys like it. This is going to be a multi-parter, so stick around for the next part. Within an old forest was a long dusty path that now sat mostly idle as of recent years, with all too few people that dared travel this long lonely road. In times past, it was once a central vein of trade and travel. The people who used it, the life-giving blood of the villages and cities that connected to this once great cobblestone road, spreading trade, wealth, new ideas from village to village. But those times had long since passed. A once well-kept road, now a humble path that was now choked with overgrowth and cracked stones. But it was not always like this, no. This new change had only recently come to pass. All of it starting with the disappearance of a whole trade caravan just 20-odd years ago. No one knows what truly happened to the caravan. Some say it was a bandit attack, others say it was disease, but all agree that such an event was more than just strange. A day after the caravan's disappearance, one of the caravan traders turned up. The trader was a mess, as he rocked back and forth while he hugged his knees in terror. His once fine clothes were ripped and shredded, his body covered in deep cuts and scrapes. No part of him was left unmarked while he muttered incoherently to himself. The villagers that found the injured trader took him to their local healer. The injured man seemed unaware of what was happening, not even seeming to notice as the healer stitched his open wound and tended to his gashes. It was days later when the head guard of the village came to inspect what happened, going to the mad trader for questioning. After hours of questioning, the head guard finally got an answer beyond the injured man's normal muttering. The trader said only one thing, while looking at the head guard in the eyes. The trader's mad gaze full of horror, as if witnessing the events all over again.
It hunts at night. It hungers for us. Those eyes,
the mad trader said over and over again. Since finding that trader, more and more people started to disappear. Those who have been found in similar states, all of them mad, terrified, and slashed. But then some were turning up with bite marks. Marks far too large to come from any normal creature of the woods. Years passed, and soon no one wanted to go through the woods. All had become reluctant to venture the road, and now no one traveled at night anymore. Nearly no one was left willing to traverse such a path. All but one young woman, a young woman with a red riding cloak. This woman's name was Victoria Brooks. To her family she was known as Vicky, but to everyone else in the village, she was known since the day she could walk as Little Red Riding Hood. Victoria Brooks was always a brave young soul. Even as a young girl, she was often found in places she shouldn't be in. Sometimes in the blacksmith shop, other times the dog kennels, and even at one time she was found wandering within the catacombs of the village's church. There was no place that was beyond her reach, or unworthy of her curiosity. Yet it was only ever the woods that made her feel unnerved. The mere idea of wandering too close filled her with a sense of foreboding. A deep feeling within her very bones that told her something was lurking just beyond the trees. Something that wanted to make her disappear like all the others who had entered the woods in the past. Today, though, Victoria sat within her family's cabin, with a fire burning in the hearth. It was a little after midday, and Victoria was looking over the letters that had arrived. That was the day when her mother came into the room, telling Victoria about the situation with her grandmother. Her grandmother has become very sick and weak. She knew that the medicine needed to be delivered to her. Vicky knew all too well that it had to be her to deliver the medicine. Her mother was needed in the village to help take care of the sick, and her father couldn't deliver either. His responsibilities as the village's smith often left him regulated to the smithy, since the village often needed him to make tools and supplies. That left only her. Normally, Victoria welcomed the idea of exploring and helping others in need, especially her dearly beloved grandmother. But there was only one problem. Her grandmother lived in another village, a day-long journey away from her home, and it was already midday. Not wanting to waste time or be in further risk of being stuck in the woods at night, Victoria took a horse to shorten the trip, but even still, it would be cutting it close. Hours later, Victoria traveled along the lonely road as the sun was making its way slowly across the sky. Her well-known Red Riding cloak draped around her shoulders. Her only company on the road was her only steed, her mode of transportation, moving at a steady trot since she didn't want to be in the woods any longer than she had to. Yet despite the deep sense of foreboding and dread that she felt, the beauty of the woods itself was not lost on her. The gentle stream babbling to our left, sparkling soothing lights from the sun, while the songbirds chattered their melodies overhead, the lush greens and browns of the foliage surrounding her, even the air itself smelled of fresh beginnings, and with the promise of adventure. Victoria could easily see herself becoming enthralled by the beauty that surrounded her. But she still had a task that needed to be done, and the sense of malicious intent still persisted no matter how much the lush beauty of the land tried to distract her. Further along the road, Victoria felt her eyelids growing more and more heavy, her back growing sore from the long ride. More than once, Victoria had to catch herself from falling out of the saddle. The gentle rocking motion was slowly getting to her, making her feel more and more at ease than she had at first starting the journey. The sun was now more than 3/4 across the sky.
Perhaps I was wrong to be so worried about this journey,
Victoria thought to herself while taking in the sights of the road that lay before her. And the shadows grew long with the sun sinking closer to the horizon. One shadow grew particularly dark. This shadow moved and shifted as it peeled itself from the ground, rising up to take the shape of a small cloud of darkness, and from the cloud grew 2 cold white eyes that stared after the young woman. As she moved further and further away, a thin white line began to spread underneath the pair of glowing empty eyes, widening until it became a cruel imitation of a smile.
So young, so innocent. It's been some time since there was one like this. She looks delicious.
The gaseous creature said to itself before molding to the ground, then dashed from shadow to shadow, so as to cut off the young woman's path further down the road. It had been a long time since it encountered someone, and it planned to enjoy its meal. End of part 1. And that concludes my first part of Little Red Riding Hood. Remember to like, share, and smash that notification bell, and get ready for part 2, which is going to be coming out in a little while. So yeah, bye. Hope you guys liked it. And smash that notification bell, damn it.